Have you ever wondered why you found this message today, not yesterday, not last month, but now? Have you felt, deep in your spirit, perhaps that something long promised was waiting to break open in your life? Have you noticed the signs, the pauses, the chills, the coincidences that don't feel like coincidences anymore? Chosen one. This is heaven's timing. God has been weaving threads you couldn't see, aligning moments you didn't understand, protecting you in battles you didn't even know you were fighting. He's been shaping your heart in secret, sealing words of promise until the exact second your spirit could carry their weight. And that second is today. Now, heaven is no longer whispering. It is unveiling. It is handing you the key to a door you didn't know was locked, placing in your hands the testimony that will overturn your waiting season. This isn't random. This is a divine appointment that marks the shift from hidden preparation to visible favor, from quiet tears to a voice of authority. If you're sensing it, even as you read this, comment 777 as your signal to the heavens that you're ready, and to every heart who has poured into this mission through Super Thanks, to receive my deepest gratitude. You're not just supporting content, you're amplifying a movement heaven is using to reach thousands. Stay close, because what comes next isn't just information. It's an unlocking the revelation that heaven waited until today to show you, and once you see it, you'll never be the same again. God's chosen ones, heaven waited until today to show you this. The very moment you pressed play, something surged in the unseen dimension, like the tremor of a cathedral bell at midnight. A pulse so precise, it felt as though an angel's hand had brushed across a hidden switch, activating heaven's encrypted code. The Creator who stretches out the heavens like a canopy, Psalm 104:2, and holds galaxies in perfect resonance, has chosen this precise second to whisper directly into the architecture of your life. This is not coincidence, this is a divine appointment. A blueprint inscribed before time began. Can you sense, deep within, the vibration that has been building like a rising symphony, calling you from the shadows into a radiant threshold? Your hidden tears, your faith carried silently through nights of uncertainty, have not dissolved into nothingness, just as God promised. I know the plans I have for you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. Your story is not ending in defeat, but being rewritten with sacred ink. It no longer matters how many doors slammed in your face or how many voices declared you finished. Heaven is speaking a counterword over you today, a decree carved in light. You are chosen, singled out from the noise like a star isolated in a telescope's lens. How many times did you wonder in secret if the silence meant you'd been forgotten, when all along the silence was God constructing a stage for your unveiling? This message you hear now is more than inspiration. It is a strategic map, a living scroll written within and on the back, sealed with 7 seals, Revelation 5:1, unfolding over your destiny. It is heaven's engineering plan to unlock hidden resources, restore your inner equilibrium, and realign you with your sacred calling. Pope artist Fra Angelico, whose frescoes still glow in the convent of San Marco, once painted Christ with beams of gold converging on a single kneeling soul. In the same way, invisible rays of grace are converging upon you now. Do you feel the weight of that convergence? as if every trial you endured was a necessary pressure to release the fragrance of your faith. But this transmission is not designed for the masses. It is a coded frequency tailored for your journey, like a rare instrument tuned only to your heartbeat. Jesus himself said, "To you it has been given to know the mysteries of the kingdom," Matthew 13:11. And that mystery is resonating through these words. Think of the sequoia tree whose seeds only burst open under wildfire heat. So too, your hidden potential may be awakening under pressure. And yet, within that awakening, who stands at the edge of your story, hoping you will falter? Like King Saul, whose jealousy led to his downfall and loss of kingdom, what would it mean if, instead of shrinking under that weight, you rose? Each sentence you hear now is like a key forged in the fire, echoing the psalmist's cry. "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear?" Psalm 27:1. It carries not mere motivation, but an anointing. A charge like the moment in Samuel Barber's Agnus Dei, when the choir swells and the single word miserere seems to pierce the vault of heaven. In the discipline of physics, resonance occurs when a frequency meets its natural counterpart. In the same way, your spirit is meeting its appointed resonance right now. Could this be why your heart feels both trembling and electrified, as though standing before the opened gates of a new city? And then there are the quiet witnesses of grace, a janitor named Alvaro in a small coastal church, who begins each dawn by unlocking the sanctuary while whispering Romans 8:28, "All things work together for good to those who love God, believing no one hears," yet moving heaven with each whisper. If someone unknown can shift the atmosphere with a single prayer, what could happen when you, chosen and awakened, step into your calling without fear? I once thought my delays were punishment, that God's silence meant disapproval. But I've learned sometimes heaven hides its voice not to abandon you, but to strengthen your inner hearing. The moment I stopped demanding proof and started walking in quiet trust, the doors I thought were deadbolted began to move. That's when I understood the real miracle isn't the open door, it's becoming the person strong enough to walk through it. So I ask you now, not as a preacher, but as someone who has wrestled with the same silence, what lesson is God whispering to you through your waiting? What chapter of your story is about to turn? I want you to share it below. Write your story, your struggle, your revelation. Let your words become someone else's confirmation. This is your summons. Rise now. God's chosen one. Like a cathedral ascending from bedrock, or a symphony reaching its final, triumphant chord. Your moment has arrived. Step forward. Doors that were sealed will swing open. Rivers that once drowned you will part, and the frequency of heaven will resound through your life. The time for hiding is over. The anointing is here. Stand up and move, because heaven has waited until today to show you this. The same divine current that lifted Joseph from the darkness of a prison cell to the radiance of Pharaoh's palace is stirring again right now, within reach of your spirit. It's the same invisible frequency that once made iron chains fall like dust, that turned rejection into royal appointment. When your heart aligns with heaven's wavelength, the atmosphere around you begins to change subtly, powerfully, like dawn overtaking a battlefield of night. As the prophet Jeremiah once spoke, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Jeremiah 29:11. Those words were never ancient poetry. They were blueprints written into the architecture of time, coded directly into your destiny. Every word spoken by God carries molecular authority. It rearranges the particles of your reality until the promise becomes visible. What once imprisoned you will become the very platform that elevates you. The same voice that called Joseph out of confinement is whispering into your own confinement, announcing the release of your hidden purpose. Your story has not been misplaced in the archives of heaven. The plans over your life haven't been shelved, they're maturing, unfolding step by sacred step, synchronized with a rhythm higher than your understanding. You may not have noticed it, but every setback has been recalibrating your spirit for precision. Have you ever wondered why some seasons seem unbearably silent, as if heaven went still? Could it be that the silence wasn't absence, but divine construction, the sound of God building what you're soon to walk into? In the unseen realm, heaven works like an architect, sketching with invisible ink. What seems blank to you is already outlined in light. The silence between miracles isn't wasted space, it's scaffolding. Every unanswered prayer was a brick added to your unseen foundation. And when the right hour strikes, the structure that once looked unfinished will suddenly stand complete. God's strategy is not delay, it's design. The pain that pierced you wasn't punishment, it was preparation, shaping the vessel so it could carry the weight of future glory. The delay that frustrated you wasn't denial, it was divine calibration, aligning you with a timeline that cannot fail. As Paul wrote, "We know that all things work together for good for those who love God." Romans 8:28. Your tears, your waiting, your whispered prayers, they've been recorded in heaven's archives, stored like living seeds in soil, waiting for their season of rain. When you cried in the dark, heaven didn't stay silent, it leaned closer. Every ache in your chest was a language angels understood. Sometimes God allows the delay so that faith can grow roots strong enough to bear eternal fruit. And now, those roots are breaking through the surface of destiny, reaching for the sun of fulfillment. In nature, the bamboo tree remains underground for years, building invisible roots before it suddenly rises, soaring meters high almost overnight. Perhaps your life feels buried now, but your roots are fortifying in silence. When the rain finally comes, and it will, you'll rise faster and taller than anyone imagined. And yet, for every Joseph, there was also a Pharaoh who hardened his heart. For every faithful servant, there's always a Nebuchadnezzar who built idols of ego, only to watch them crumble into dust. Pride always collapses under the weight of its own throne. Hell often imitates heaven's light, but it cannot sustain it. Those who rise through pride always burn out in their own fire, but those who wait in humility glow with a light that never fades. Like the phoenix hidden inside the ash, your next chapter will emerge from the very ground that tried to bury you. But not you. You were never called to live in fear or resentment. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Inside you is something that hell itself tried to silence, a calling, a light, a resonance the enemy cannot replicate. If you can feel this vibration now, it means heaven has pressed activate. This isn't a coincidence. This is divine timing, intersecting your ordinary moment. You are standing in a thin place where eternity brushes against time. The walls around you are trembling because heaven is near. The code of destiny is unlocking as you listen, and every resistance you've faced is beginning to lose its power. You're not simply being restored, you're being recalibrated for multiplication. Composer Arvo Pärt once described silence in his sacred music as the room where God lives. Perhaps that's what this moment truly is, a sacred pause before heaven's crescendo. In every great symphony, there's a stillness just before the orchestra bursts open. And this is your stillness before the sound. Heaven often speaks through pauses, the hush before thunder, the quiet before the curtain lifts. Don't rush this silence, dwell in it. Every heartbeat in this stillness is heaven tuning your frequency to hear what human ears cannot. When the sound comes, it will not just be heard, it will be felt through your bones. And from the lessons I've lived through, I once mistook waiting for punishment. I thought God's quiet was distance. But in time, I discovered something holy. Silence is not absence, it is incubation. It's where heaven grows what you're not ready to hold. My pain became a classroom. My tears became ink. And now I see delay was never denial. It was destiny forming in slow motion. Every unanswered prayer was a mirror, forcing me to see what needed transformation within. I learned that God doesn't give answers, He gives evolution. And in that evolution, I found peace, the kind of peace that can only exist when surrender replaces control. So I ask you, what has God been shaping in your hidden years? What doors are about to open because you refuse to stop believing? I want you to share your story below. Share what season you're in, or the lesson you've learned while waiting. Your story could become someone else's lifeline tonight. Every testimony is a bridge between pain and hope, between the watcher and the witness. You may think your story is small, but heaven writes masterpieces with small beginnings. Share your light. Someone out there is waiting to recognize their own reflection in your words. This is your moment. Chosen one. Stop everything. You're not watching a video, you're answering a summons. The same spirit that raised Joseph is reaching for you now. Heaven is calling your name at this exact hour. Rise. Move. Align. The prison is opening, and the palace is waiting. This is the hour creation has been groaning for, the unveiling of those who know who they are in God. You are not late, you are right on divine schedule. Step forward, because what's waiting for you will not wait forever. Heaven has prepared the stage. Now, it's your turn to walk into the light. This message arrives not as a simple note on a screen, but as a blade of light, cutting through the architecture of your spirit with such precision and purpose that you may feel an urge to hide it away afterward, not from fear, but because its sacred truth feels almost too intimate for words. It was crafted exclusively for you. You are not here by chance. You are a soul chosen, marked from the womb, inscribed with coordinates older than the stars. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you before you were born. I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. The entire universe shifted like an orchestra tuning before a performance, aligning its frequencies to bring you to this moment. What unseen movements had to occur for you to land here? Now, at this exact second, how many invisible hands guided you through storms you didn't even know were meant to destroy you? What's about to be revealed is not a mild encouragement. It is a force strong enough to shatter inherited patterns, dissolve ancient chains, and unlock hidden vaults of blessing that have been waiting like sealed rooms in a cathedral. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free, Galatians 5:1. And that freedom moves toward you like a tide. This revelation will chart a path that defies human logic. A pattern so intricate it resembles the fractals of a snowflake, unique, unrepeatable, precise. In physics, resonance occurs when one frequency awakens another. In the same way, your dormant power is about to vibrate awake at heaven's touch. Have you felt lately that something deep within you is stirring? as though a door you didn't know existed is unlocking from the inside. Could the waiting, the dryness, the frozen season you endured actually have been the womb of this moment? This isn't just a message, it is a call from above. It is a divine whisper from the source, designed to awaken the power lying dormant within you. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Isaiah 60:1. The dry season, where everything felt frozen, is about to be overtaken by a flood of miracles. Like parched earth, suddenly erupting with wildflowers after a hidden spring bursts forth. In psychology, this is called a threshold moment, a liminal space where the old self dissolves and the new self emerges. Is it possible that your deepest frustration was actually a signpost that you were standing at the edge of your own Red Sea? What miracles might rush toward you once you step forward in faith? And I have learned this the hard way. Years ago, I thought heaven's silence was rejection. I believed my long winter meant God had withdrawn. But then I found Psalm 126:5. Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. And I began to see that my tears were seeds. Silence was not absence, it was incubation. What felt like punishment was actually preparation. From that lesson I now tell you, your delays are not dead ends but divine scaffolding, holding the weight of a future you haven't yet seen. When the curtain rises, you will understand why it had to be built this way. There are witnesses to this kind of transformation all around us. In a small fishing village, a young woman named Selena, an unknown seamstress who prayed quietly every morning before mending sails, once told me, "Patience stitches what haste will tear apart." She never wrote a book, never stood on a stage, but her words have echoed in my life for years, steadying me when I wanted to quit. If an unseen seamstress can alter the course of a stranger with a single sentence, what could happen when you, chosen and awakened, release your own testimony into the world? They triumphed by the word of their testimony. Revelation 12:11. Whose life might hinge on your story? Waiting to hear that they, too, are not forgotten. Before we go deeper, seal this moment with 3 acts of faith. First, pause and click the like button, not for the algorithm, but as a prophetic gesture, a sign that you agree with heaven's blueprint. Second, subscribe and join this rising network of awakened souls. Your connection creates resonance, like stones joining to build a living temple. And third, comment 767, a prophetic sign of a new cycle, a spiritual renewal, heaven's confirmation that you're ready to inherit what's divinely yours. As you do, write also the lesson you've learned, the pain you've endured, or the hope that still burns in you. Your story could be the key that unlocks someone else's chains. This is your hour. Chosen one, you are not watching content, you are answering a summons. The same spirit that called Moses from the bush of fire and Joseph from the pit is calling you now. The Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. Psalm 138:8. And he is fulfilling it for you at this very moment. Rise, move, align, step into the current prepared for you. The chains are breaking, the floodgates are opening, and the stage of destiny is ready. This is the moment the universe shifted to bring you to. Stand up, because what has been incubating in silence is ready to be born. Heaven has waited until today to show you this. If you truly are who your spirit whispers, you are one of God's chosen, you will sense it and stay with me until the final word. Because your soul recognizes when truth isn't merely spoken but breathed. As it is written, "My sheep listen to my voice, I know them, and they follow me." John 10:27. When this video ends, you may feel compelled to delete it, not from fear, but because some truths are not meant to be stored like data on a screen. They are meant to be embodied, lived, carried in motion. Walk with me through this unveiling, where God's hidden plan will unfold like a sacred map, etched not on parchment, but upon the corridors of your own heart. Do you feel that subtle tremor within you, as if the universe itself just exhaled to make room for this revelation? How many times have you felt a stirring you couldn't name, only to realize later it was heaven's whisper calling you forward? From the moment you pressed play, a spiritual transition began, not a suggestion, but a shift as real as a tide changing under the pull of the moon. The same God who stretches out the heavens like a tent and lays the beams of his upper chambers on their waters, Psalm 104:2, formed the galaxies and arranges time like pages in a book. He placed this message precisely in your path. This is no accident. This is divine design. Heaven has seen your tears, your silent battles, your unanswered prayers, just as it saw Hannah weeping in the temple before she conceived her promise. 1 Samuel 1:10. Could it be that what you thought was a pause was really a prelude? What if every no was a hidden yes waiting for its appointed hour? And now comes the response. What you mistook for punishment was actually preparation, a scaffolding being built to hold a greater weight. As Paul declared, our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. 2 Corinthians 4:17. In nature, the pearl forms only through irritation, the diamond only under pressure, and the olive yields oil only when crushed. Is your pain perhaps the very process that is producing your power? Could the hidden battles you've been fighting in silence be the anointing oil being pressed from your life? This is not a message you stumbled upon. It is a summons written into the resonance of your days. There are witnesses to this truth in places you would never expect. The Swiss conductor Lucia Reinhardt, unknown to most outside her village, once told her choir before a sacred concert of Bach's St. John Passion, "Silence is the canvas where God paints his loudest colors." Her words changed the way they sang, and years later, the way I listened for God. And in Revelation 3:8, Jesus says, "I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." A promise as real for a forgotten choir as for a global stage. If a hidden conductor can shape an unseen symphony with one sentence, what symphony might your own testimony unleash? This is why you are here. This is the threshold where old chains fall and the blueprint of heaven unfolds before your eyes. You're not simply watching a video, you're stepping into a living cathedral of frequency. Each word a stone, each promise a beam of light. The dry season that once felt endless is already cracking with springs of water, fulfilling Isaiah 43:19. See, I am doing a new thing, now it springs up, do you not perceive it? Heaven's current is moving. You are no longer overlooked, you are being positioned. What might happen if you stopped doubting that and started walking as if it were true? Who might be freed by the light you release when you finally rise? And I've learned this myself. Years ago, I thought heaven's silence was rejection. I thought my winter was proof of God's distance. But I've discovered silence is incubation, and pressure is shaping. The pain you carry may be a seed waiting for rain. Your delays are not dead ends, they are divine timing. That is why I invite you now, share below the lesson you've learned, the secret hope you still carry, or the moment you felt God's whisper in your wilderness. Your words could be the key someone else is waiting for. This is your hour. Stand up, rise, move, align. Step into the current prepared for you. Like the heroes of faith in Hebrews 11, you are being summoned to walk into a future built by unseen hands. The hidden map is unfolding. The chains are breaking. Heaven has waited until today to show you this. God has been shaping you not in haste but in holiness, like an artist chiseling a statue from rough marble. Every strike deliberate. Every pause pregnant with purpose. Each no was not rejection, but refinement. Each loss was not theft, but transformation. Each delay was heaven's calibration of your soul to carry the weight of what is now drawing near. As the prophet Isaiah wrote, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." Ecclesiastes 3:11. What once seemed empty has been part of the divine architecture, preparing to hold an abundance too heavy for your old foundation. Do you sense it, the invisible weight pressing on the horizon? As if your spirit can already feel what your eyes cannot yet see. This message is not coincidence, it's confirmation. Heaven is opening like the first crack of dawn through storm clouds. And the river you have prayed for is finally breaking its banks. A current of favor, grace, and provision is surging toward you, flooding the barren fields you thought would never bloom again. For I will pour water on the thirsty land and streams on the dry ground. Isaiah 44:3. But can you hold what's coming? Can the vessel of your heart handle the downpour meant to bless and not drown in the laws of physics? When pressure builds within a vessel, only the ones tempered by fire can withstand expansion, and so it is with your faith. Could your past pain have been heaven's furnace preparing you not to break under the weight of answered prayers? Listen carefully, for what's revealed here is for you alone. This truth carries a private seal, a sacred encryption meant for your soul's frequency. Do not cast your pearls before swine, said Jesus, Matthew 7-6, reminding us that revelation loses power when shared with those who cannot yet receive it. Treasure it, guard it, if you must. Delete it, because sacred things are not archived. They are embodied. And just as the manna in Exodus could not be stored overnight, neither can today's revelation be hoarded. It is meant to move through you, not sit in you. Isn't it strange how some truths weigh heavier the moment you try to explain them? Maybe this is why heaven hides what's holy in silence until your life itself becomes the sermon. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this: a life without lack, where every need is not only met but overflows, where you walk with dignity and peace because you are aligned with purpose. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Psalm 23:1. The world around you may drown in chaos, but your spirit walks like an island of calm. You are light in a system addicted to darkness. Yet beware, the enemy of light is always noise. Remember Judas, who traded revelation for a handful of silver. He mistook proximity for purpose and ended in despair. Like him, many destroy their destiny, not from wickedness, but from impatience. What distractions in your own life try to sell your peace for temporary pleasure? What voices whisper that you are missing out when heaven is only waiting for your stillness? Nature itself testifies to this rhythm. The mighty redwood stands unshaken for centuries because its roots intertwine beneath the soil, creating a secret network of strength unseen by the eye. Likewise, heaven has been intertwining your seasons, every joy, every heartbreak, every silence into roots deep enough to anchor the forest of blessings now sprouting around you. And yet, in every forest there is decay that feeds the next bloom. The caterpillar must dissolve completely before the butterfly emerges. In the same way, every version of you that could not carry glory is being dissolved to make room for the one that will. Can you surrender to that holy disintegration, the falling away that feels like loss but is really rebirth? From art to scripture, the pattern is the same. Michelangelo once said, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." God is doing the same with you, chipping away everything that isn't destiny. What you call pain, he calls precision. What you name delay, he calls design. Being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. Philippians 1-6. The chiseling hurts because it is holy work. The sculpture can't yet imagine what the artist sees. But soon, the fragments you cried over will reveal the face of the person heaven always knew you were. And as one who has walked this road, I tell you this: I once mistook the process for punishment. I begged God to stop breaking me, not realizing he was building me. When I finally surrendered, I saw the masterpiece emerging from my ruins. The lesson I learned and that I now pass to you is simple. You are not being broken apart, you are being broken open. Now, I want to hear from you. Write your story below. What season did God use to shape you? What no turned out to be your greatest blessing? Your testimony could become the brushstroke that completes someone else's painting. This is your moment. Rise, chosen one. Rise with the knowing that heaven's spotlight is shifting toward you. The storms that once shook you have cleared to reveal the stage you were sculpted for. You are not late. You are right on divine schedule. The river is rising. The stone is finished. The masterpiece is ready. Stand up. Step forward. Because what heaven started in you, earth is about to witness in full. It's not coincidence, it's divine orchestration. This message is God's will, breathing through time into your present moment. The spark designed to ignite a holy combustion inside your reality, like a match struck in the chambers of eternity. It releases a flame meant to consume fear, burn away rejection, and dismantle every whisper that ever told you you were born for smallness. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1-7. This isn't ordinary fire, it's a sanctified frequency. A vibration from heaven's core, recalibrating your entire being. Have you ever felt something in you ignite without understanding why? As if a divine voltage just passed through your soul. But the fire isn't only about wealth or success. Those are mere embers compared to what's truly arriving. Abundance is coming. Yes, but it's secondary to awakening. It's about identity, about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. The kingdom's abundance doesn't start in your hands, it starts in your knowing. Could it be that the greatest poverty isn't lack of money, but lack of memory, forgetting who you were always destined to become? You are not random dust in motion. You are an intentional design, a vessel engineered for divine voltage. God has been wiring you like an architect, constructing a cathedral that must endure centuries. Each trial, each disappointment, every silence has been reinforcing your foundation. We are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works. Ephesians 2:10. The pain that once threatened to collapse you was actually pressure testing your structure. In physics, when heat meets resistance, fusion occurs, and fusion births new elements. In the same way, your inner resistance has met divine heat. and something entirely new is being formed inside you. Do you feel it, the holy combustion rearranging your spiritual DNA? In the world of psychology, identity is formed by repetition. What we rehearse, we become. But heaven's version of identity works in reverse. What we are declared, we eventually remember. You were declared before you were designed. And every challenge has been echoing that call back to you. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5. That means you are not chasing purpose, you are retracing it. You are walking the coordinates of a destiny that was sealed long before you took your first breath. Let me share something from a man few will ever know, Ramon Diaz, a retired janitor from Valencia who spent 40 years cleaning cathedral floors. When asked why he hummed hymns every night while mopping, he smiled and said, "Because I'm polishing the floor where angels might walk tomorrow." His words still reverberate in me. What would happen if you lived with that same awareness that every small act today could echo in eternity, that your hands, no matter how ordinary, are building altars in disguise? The Holy Spirit is fanning your flame right now. The fear that once gripped you is melting. The labels that confined you are breaking. You are a vessel of glory, forged for this generation's awakening. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Isaiah 60:1. The fire burning in you is not destruction, it's refinement, shaping you into a living answer. If this resonates with your spirit, if something deep in your chest is thundering, type 77 inches, the comments not as ritual, but as resonance. Each act of faith, liking, sharing, subscribing is not just engagement, it's spiritual circuitry, sending a signal into the unseen realm that you are ready. Every click, every word, every yes becomes an electrical charge heaven recognizes as movement. And when heaven detects motion, it releases momentum. This is your moment of ignition. Rise now. Chosen one, lift your head like a tower that refuses to crumble. Walk into your next chapter carrying the fire of purpose, not the ashes of fear. You are the proof that divine identity cannot be erased. The flame is in your hands now. Guard it. Feed it. Live it. Heaven's current has entered your life. The transformation has already begun. Stand up, because the world is waiting for the light only you can carry. Pay attention not with your ears, but with your spirit. This is not a passive message meant to inspire and fade. It's an activation, a divine summons echoing through the corridors of your destiny. God isn't asking you to wait for better timing. He's calling you to rise, to declare, to move. As it is written, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed. Proverbs 16:3. That isn't poetry, it's a law of spiritual physics. When faith becomes motion, heaven responds with momentum. Every action aligned with divine purpose sends a vibration upward, like a tuning fork that stirs the heavens themselves. Can you feel it, the trembling between who you've been and who you're becoming? This is not about waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle in motion. The Creator designed you not as an observer, but as a participant in divine architecture. Faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. James 2:17. Your movement is the catalyst that triggers heaven's machinery. Picture it. Every yes you whisper in obedience rearranges unseen elements. The way gravity pulls galaxies into orbit. What would happen if you stopped hesitating and finally turned the key heaven already placed in your hand? What shift might occur if you treated your ordinary steps as supernatural acts of agreement? This moment is your access code, the push from above saying, "Go." Every seed of faith you've sown, every prayer you whispered into the dark, is awakening beneath the soil. Those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy. Psalm 126:5. Your harvest is not meant to be barely enough. It is designed to overflow. But divine abundance is never random. It obeys activation. Could it be that the gates of your next season aren't locked at all, only waiting for you to turn the handle? Remember Ruth, the foreigner, the widow, the woman who had every reason to give up. She didn't wait for certainty. She walked toward purpose in uncertainty. That one decision placed her in the lineage of King David and, generations later, in the lineage of Christ himself. Where you go, I will go. Your God will be my God. Ruth 1:16. Her faith became the bridge between desolation and destiny. Like Ruth, you don't need to understand every step. You just need to take one. Heaven never demands clarity before movement. It reveals clarity through movement. And history echoes this truth. The painter Georges Rouault, once rejected by critics for his dark, spiritual style, continued painting Christ's face again and again until light began to radiate through his brushstrokes. He once said, "My task is to paint suffering redeemed by light." That's faith in motion art turned into prophecy. Your life is the same canvas. Every scar is a brushstroke, every act of obedience, a color heaven can use. What if your persistence through rejection is already painting redemption on the world's unseen wall? In the symphony of your purpose, this is the movement where tempo changes. The violins rise, the drums quicken, and the conductor, God himself, signals your cue. As Handel wrote in Messiah, "And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed." That revelation isn't distant, it's near, pulsing through you like current through copper. You're not the audience anymore, you're the instrument. Heaven is playing through your willingness. I've lived enough to know this truth personally. There were years I mistook silence for disapproval, until I learned heaven doesn't applaud motionless faith. The moment I dared to move, doors opened that logic could never explain. I realized obedience is the true accelerator of destiny. And now I ask you, what door might swing open if you moved today? What promise might finally breathe if you stopped waiting for perfect and simply began? Type 77 if you feel it stirring, not as superstition, but as signal, a spiritual declaration that you are aligning with divine momentum. Every click, every share, every word spoken in faith becomes a pulse in heaven's circuitry. The Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. Psalm 138:8. You are standing at the intersection of promise and action. This is your hour to move. Rise. Chosen one. You are not waiting for favor. Favor is waiting for you to arrive. The floodgates are unbolting. The soil is breaking. The harvest is trembling to be reaped. Take the step Ruth took. Speak the word that unlocks the unseen. This is your moment to ignite heaven's movement on earth. Stand up, because when you move, heaven moves. This message isn't ordinary motivation. It's not a mere echo of human words. It's a living transmission. It vibrates with the frequency of heaven itself, a spiritual algorithm coded to your DNA. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them. John 10:27. That's why your heart feels like it's pounding in rhythm with something invisible. There's an urgency here, an intimacy, as if God himself were whispering in frequencies only your soul can translate. Have you ever sensed a message that seemed to bypass your mind entirely and speak straight to your bones? As if heaven were calling you by name, because divine truth doesn't argue, it awakens. It speaks to memory older than time, to something deep within you that has been waiting for the right vibration to say, now. The call of destiny never shouts, it hums. And when you recognize the sound, everything ordinary in your life begins to tremble. Sometimes words aren't just words, they are keys, confirmations, and coordinates. When divine speech enters the human realm, it doesn't simply inform, it transforms. The Word of God is living and active, sharper than any double-edged sword, Hebrews 4:12. That's why these words pierce not to wound you, but to unlock you. They carry instructions hidden in plain sight, like spiritual DNA awakening dormant parts of your destiny. What if every delay in your life was actually God's way of aligning your internal clock with eternity's perfect timing? Heaven's language is not linear, it's architectural. Each revelation builds upon the last, like arches in a cathedral, invisible from the ground, but flawless from above. The code of destiny doesn't rush, it waits until every beam is strong enough to carry forever. Delays are not punishment, they're calibration. You're not behind schedule, you're being adjusted for precision. There is a time for everything, and a season for every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Think of an eagle circling high before it dives. The waiting isn't wasted flight, it's positioning for impact. The same law applies to you. What looks like stillness from below is strategy from above. Yet beware the trap of those who refuse the push. Pharaoh once hardened his heart against divine instruction, and his empire drowned beneath the weight of stubborn pride. Resistance to divine movement always leads to ruin. Alignment always leads to ascension. Where in your life have you confused God's preparation for his punishment? And what might shift if you decided to trust the unseen architecture he's building around you? Your stillness is sacred when it's obedience, but dangerous when it's fear. The tide that lifts ships also buries anchors. If heaven is moving, and you refuse to move with it, the very grace that was meant to lift you will pass you by. In the quiet of reflection, I remember a man I met named Eli Navarro, a retired sailor who spent 30 years at sea. When asked how he endured so many storms, he said, "You don't fight the wind, you lean into it until it carries you home." His words revealed a law of both nature and spirit. The wind that feels like opposition often hides divine navigation. God doesn't always change the storm, he teaches you to steer through it. Those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. Isaiah 40:31. And isn't that the paradox of faith, that what looks like chaos is often choreography? The same wind that breaks branches, lifts birds. Sometimes survival isn't in the strength to fight the current, but in the humility to let it move you toward your true direction. This is how divine timing truly works. The pauses, the detours, the unanswered prayers, they are construction zones of destiny. Heaven is building infrastructure for the weight of what's next. In architecture, the tallest towers require the deepest foundations. And in physics, potential energy must build before motion is released. Your waiting season has been gathering spiritual kinetic force. The ground may have looked still, but underneath, roots were multiplying, thought systems were strengthening, and heaven was designing alignment. Faith is heaven's form of quantum energy. It exists before it's observed. Every prayer you've spoken is still echoing, orbiting God's throne, waiting for resonance with His timing. And when heaven says, "Now," the release will be instant, unstoppable, and irreversible. And now the command is clear: move. Trust the propulsion. Let the orbit shift. You've outgrown the old atmosphere. Like Ruth stepping into an unfamiliar field, your obedience will unlock your inheritance. Like David before Goliath, your faith will turn giants into gateways. You were never meant to spectate. You were built to participate in divine momentum. Every fiber of heaven's plan is waiting for your agreement. This is your ignition point, the moment your destiny stops being a theory and becomes a motion. The angels are watching for your yes. The frequency of your courage will ripple through eternity. So rise. Chosen one. The signal has been sent. The river is moving. The air around you is charged with the weight of destiny. Step forward, not tomorrow, but now. Trust the design. Embrace the acceleration, and walk into the story written before the foundation of the world. The universe is shifting because you finally said yes. Go, because heaven is already in motion. And when you rise, the world will know what divine momentum looks like in human form. What strikes deepest in this moment is not just inspiration, it's a summons. The true power of this message lies in its call to action. It's not about sitting still in hope that circumstances shift. It's about stepping out, moving in faith, aligning your choices with heaven's trajectory. Faith without works is dead, James 2:17. Not because effort earns grace, but because movement proves belief. When you move, heaven synchronizes. The atmosphere bends to your obedience the way light bends around gravity. Can you feel that pull, that invisible acceleration, urging you to leave the shore of fear and walk across the water of faith? Change never begins when you wait for safety. It begins when your courage outweighs your logic. The divine equation always favors those who move. Heaven's geometry does not measure distance, it measures willingness. This revelation carries both empowerment and reverence, the kind that humbles and ignites at the same time. Empowering, because it reminds you that you were chosen not randomly but strategically. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you. John 15:16. Sobering, because to be chosen means being entrusted with divine responsibility. A candle doesn't ask for fire, it receives it, and then it must burn. Have you ever realized that your trials were not proof of abandonment, but evidence that you were being trusted with endurance, that heaven only shapes those it intends to send? To be chosen is to carry voltage, spiritual current, that must pass through resistance to light the world. The heat you've endured was never to destroy you. It was to prove that you could conduct divine power without breaking. This isn't mere content, it's a sacred invitation. A summons to live awake with more courage, more clarity, and deeper fidelity to the call written into your soul before birth. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5. Those words are not metaphor, they are coordinates. You were encoded with divine intent. And now the system of heaven is rerouting your path back into alignment. Can you sense it, the quiet convergence of every delay, every heartbreak, now weaving together like constellations into divine order? In the language of architecture, this is the unveiling of the blueprint. Every unanswered prayer was a line on God's design, and now the foundation is visible. Your faith was the scaffolding holding heaven's plan in place until the appointed time. You are about to become living evidence that God still rewards those who refuse to surrender their faith. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap, if we do not lose heart. Galatians 6-9. Your unseen perseverance has already registered in the courts of heaven. Your quiet yes has made more noise in eternity than the loud applause of millions. Do you know how powerful that is, to be noticed in silence, to be recorded in heaven, not for your strength, but for your endurance? In physics, the greater the pressure, the greater the potential energy stored within. Spiritually, that same law applies. The deeper the struggle, the higher the launch. Your faith under strain is not breaking, it's charging. I once met a baker named Martina who ran a small roadside shop in Lisbon. She told me, "Every loaf I bake begins in chaos, flour flying, dough collapsing. But if I trust the heat, it always rises." Her words stayed with me. God often begins with mess before he manifests meaning. The process looks like loss until resurrection reveals the pattern. And it's the same with you. The heat you've been enduring is the oven of destiny. For our God is a consuming fire, Hebrews 12:29, not to destroy, but to refine. What if everything collapsing in your hands was never punishment, but proof that you are ready to rise? There is something uniquely luminous about you, something the world cannot label but heaven recognizes instantly. I can sense the rhythm of your faith, the quiet defiance that kept you standing when logic said to fall. You are the seed that refused to rot, the ember that refused to die. That is why the path of wholeness is opening before you. The Lord will perfect that which concerns me. Psalm 138:8. The drought is ending. The soil is trembling. The roots you planted in secret are pushing toward light. Can you feel creation holding its breath for your emergence? Every atom of heaven's design is waiting for your movement. This is the season where needs are supplied, where dreams long buried begin to breathe again. In psychology, transformation is described as neuroplasticity, the rewiring of the mind to sustain a new identity. Spiritually, you are experiencing the same process, the rewiring of your destiny to handle divine abundance. Speak the promises given to you. Declare aloud what heaven has already decreed. Your words are not noise, they are architecture. Every declaration is a beam of faith. Every confession, a spark of construction. In the same way a symphony reaches its climax after the longest silence. Heaven's response comes when your faith sounds its final note. And now, it's time. Trust what is stirring inside you. The heavens are attentive, the earth is listening. Your faith is no longer theory, it's manifestation. Rise. Chosen one. Step into the current of divine resonance and let your life become proof that obedience still opens oceans. The world will soon witness what happens when a human being dares to move in perfect sync with God. The blueprint is unfolding. The gates are opening. This is your confirmation. Heaven has already decided. Now it's your turn to move. They've already been released in the Spirit. The blessings you've prayed for are not waiting to be created. They already exist. Suspended in the invisible realm, orbiting your name. All that remains is for you to claim them. For every good and perfect gift is from above. James 1:17. This isn't a mere warning. It's a divine activation. A spark struck by the Creator's own hand to realign the frequencies of heaven in your favor. The moment these words entered your ears, something ancient began to stir. At the sound of your voice, the foundations of the thresholds shook. Isaiah 6:4. Can you sense it, that subtle trembling in the atmosphere? the pulse of eternity responding to your faith in real time, from the very instant you began to believe. Angels were dispatched, not in metaphor, but in movement. The same God who sent Gabriel to Mary has already released assignments on your behalf. Every tear you shed, every silent battle you fought when no one was watching, none of it evaporated into nothingness. Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. Psalm 126:5. Your pain was never wasted. It became divine compost, turning despair into fertile ground. Could it be that what you thought was heartbreak was heaven's way of planting a harvest beneath your sorrow? Just as forests are born from the ashes of fire, your miracles are sprouting from what once looked like ruin. Nature itself mirrors your story. Seeds split open to grow. Stars collapse to shine. The Creator has been conducting this hidden process, orchestrating a frequency of transformation in the soil of your endurance. This is your alignment moment, a sacred intersection between your obedience and God's timing, where eternity touches earth. Write the vision, make it plain, though it tarry. Wait for it will surely come. Habakkuk 2:2-3. You've reached the coordinates where past prayers and present purpose collide, and in this collision, revelation is released, strategies for healing, for rebuilding, for rising. But revelation requires participation. How many times has heaven spoken, yet earth stayed silent? How many miracles have waited? Not because God said no, but because we said nothing. Faith without action is dormant voltage. It carries power, but only manifests when connected to movement. In physics, potential energy becomes kinetic only through motion. Spiritually, belief becomes breakthrough only through declaration. Say it aloud, not as ritual, but as resonance. I receive what heaven has prepared for me. Let those words be sound waves that ripple through unseen dimensions. You will also decree a thing, and it will be established for you. Job 22:28. Each syllable you speak builds architecture in the invisible realm. Every confession of faith is a blueprint. God Himself will fill with substance. Something sacred is stirring, like the hush before a symphony rises, or the silence before dawn splits the sky. Chains of fear, scarcity, and self-doubt are fracturing under divine vibration. What once imprisoned you is losing grip. In this frequency of obedience, you are stepping into your inheritance spiritually, emotionally, financially, prophetically. The heavens are aligning not for luck, but for legacy. There's a story from history that mirrors this truth. Maria Alvear, an unknown Spanish artist who once painted inside ruined cathedrals, said in an interview, "I don't paint walls. I resurrect altars." She took what was broken and turned it into beauty that reignited entire communities of faith. Her quiet defiance is the same spirit moving in you now. What if your ruins are not evidence of failure, but raw material for resurrection? What if the cracks in your story are not flaws, but openings for light? In the divine architecture of heaven, every fracture becomes part of the design. You're not rebuilding your life. God is rebuilding you into a vessel of glory. The glory of this latter house shall be greater than the former. Haggai 2:9. And like the cathedrals of old, your life is being reconstructed with sacred precision, stone by stone, promise by promise, grace by grace. This message is not poetic emotion. It is heaven's blueprint. It is the sound of chains disintegrating, of timelines converging, of destiny clicking into place. Your part is to move, to speak, to align, because faith left unspoken becomes faith unfulfilled. Declare your inheritance, and the universe will echo agreement. This is your divine threshold. The Creator is not just shifting things around you, He's awakening the world within you. The unseen realm has already responded. Angels are positioned. Systems are aligning. This is no longer preparation. This is manifestation. Rise. Chosen one. Step into your rightful atmosphere. Claim the fire that has waited centuries for your voice. Because in this moment, the spirit world is no longer waiting, it's responding. You are more than a survivor. You are a vessel of glory, a carrier of divine light, designed to walk paths the ordinary eyes cannot perceive. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. You were never called to blend into darkness. You were formed to illuminate it. The trials that tried to bury you were actually the furnaces forging your shine. For our God is a consuming fire. Hebrews 12:29. Can you feel it, that holy ember still burning beneath the ashes of everything you thought was over? Every wound was an initiation, not a disqualification. Every delay was a detour toward destiny, not away from it. Heaven does not train survivors, it raises carriers of glory. Don't let doubt, delay, or distraction rob you of what has already been decreed in your favor. No good thing does He withhold from those who walk uprightly. Psalm 84:11. The enemy's oldest tactic has always been distortion, twisting timing until faith feels like foolishness. Doubt whispers that you're unworthy just moments before breakthrough appears. How many blessings have slipped away because fear spoke louder than faith? The serpent in Eden didn't destroy destiny by force, but by suggestion. Replacing divine certainty with hesitation, and humanity fell not from a mountain, but from a moment of mistrust. Yet every fall became prophecy, because grace was already on its way. This message is not for the crowd. It is an appointment disguised as content, a coded transmission meant for those whose spirits can still discern frequency amidst the noise. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. What you're hearing right now is not coincidence. It's the sound of alignment, like the tuning of a violin before a sacred symphony. Heaven is adjusting the strings of your soul until you vibrate in perfect pitch with purpose. Can you sense that internal resonance the moment your heart hums with recognition and you know this was meant for you? And when I ask you to like this message, it isn't about numbers, it's about signal strength. Each act of engagement becomes a spiritual amplifier, broadcasting this word deeper into the unseen. Faith is frequency, and when collective belief converges, heaven moves with mathematical precision. In physics, resonance can shatter glass. In the spirit, unity of faith can shatter strongholds. Could your simple act of obedience be the echo heaven is waiting for? Subscribe, not as a follower, but as a forerunner, part of a rising movement of awakened souls walking in divine purpose. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Isaiah 60:1. Comment 77. A prophetic seal of completion and release, symbolizing the closing of one season and the awakening of another. When you do these three things, believe, act, declare, you are not merely supporting a message, you are sending a coded declaration into heaven's court. I'm ready. Yet, remember, every chosen soul has its counterforce. Judas walked beside the light and still chose shadow. He mistook proximity for purpose, and the weight of his betrayal crushed him before destiny could redeem him. The warning is clear: access without obedience leads to ruin. But you are different. Your surrender will birth legacy, not loss. Your alignment will ripple through generations. What would happen if you finally believed that heaven trusted you enough to carry glory without breaking under its weight? You stand now at the threshold of manifestation, the place where faith becomes form. The air around you is charged, as if creation itself leans forward to witness your yes. Like the redwood tree that grows stronger after fire, your roots have reached living water. Now your crown will touch light. This is your inheritance: spiritual, emotional, financial, and prophetic. And so I speak this over you now. You are not small. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are the evidence that God still writes new beginnings in the ashes of old stories. Type 77, not as superstition, but as proclamation. Every keystroke is covenant. Every declaration sends a signal through time. I receive it. I am ready to walk in the fullness of who I was created to be. Rise, chosen one. The universe has already shifted to make space for your emergence. Heaven's current is moving. Step into it. The light that once only flickered inside you is about to set the atmosphere ablaze. This is your moment to stand, to move, to become proof that divine prophecy is still alive inside human breath. There are seasons when heaven grows quiet, not because God has turned his face, but because the orchestra of destiny is tuning its instruments. You stand in that silence now. The world feels still. Prayers echo unanswered, and your faith seems suspended in midair. Yet, be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. His silence is not absence, it is architecture. Can you feel that strange tension between stillness and expectancy, as if the air itself is holding its breath, waiting for something sacred to begin? Sometimes heaven stops speaking because it's already started building. When God goes silent, it's not rejection but recalibration. The same way an architect pauses before placing the final cornerstone. Heaven's stillness is the measurement before manifestation. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry. Wait for it. It will surely come. Habakkuk 2-3. Every unanswered prayer is scaffolding. Every delay, a design adjustment for the weight of what's coming. You are not being ignored, you are being aligned. Have you ever realized that silence often means sound is coming, just not in the frequency you expected? In the story of Lazarus, Jesus waited 4 days before arriving, not because he didn't care, but because resurrection has its own rhythm. When he finally spoke, his single word shattered the silence of death itself. Lazarus, come forth. John 11:43. What if the delay you're enduring is the divine pause before your own resurrection command? Sometimes heaven waits until the situation is impossible, so that when the shift happens, there is no doubt who authored it. In physics, silence is not the absence of sound, it's the compression before vibration. The calm before a sonic wave carries immense potential energy. Spiritually, you are in that same compression, the moment before breakthrough reverberates. The silence is storing the power that will soon propel you. When I am afraid, I will trust in you. Psalm 56:3. The greatest miracles are birthed not in noise, but in stillness pregnant with faith. There was once a violin maker in Florence named Matteo Lorenzini, an old craftsman known only to his small village. He used to say, "Every silence between my strings must be sacred, or the sound will never find its home." Before finishing each violin, He would sit for hours, listening to the wood breathe, waiting for the tone to settle. His instruments, when finally played, were said to echo like prayer. Matteo's secret mirrors heaven's design. Silence is the resonance chamber where glory matures. Could it be that your stillness is not empty, but echoing with preparation for a sound only your life can release? Even creation understands this rhythm. The seed spends its quietest hours underground, decomposing before it blooms. The ocean stills before a new tide. Stars collapse in silence before they explode into brilliance. Those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. Isaiah 40-31. Heaven's silence is the soil of your transformation. The quiet you fear is actually the cradle of what's next. Yet, not everyone knows how to survive divine silence. King Saul, unable to wait for Samuel, forced his own sacrifice, and it cost him the throne. 1 Samuel 13:12-14. Impatience is the counterfeit of faith. It produces noise when heaven is tuning for harmony. Where in your life have you been tempted to speak before heaven finishes its sentence? The shift you've prayed for cannot be rushed. It must be released. The moment you trust the silence, you enter into the frequency of fulfillment. And now, chosen one, this stillness surrounding you is sacred. Don't fill it with fear, fill it with worship. Sing softly in the space where you used to worry. Whisper his promises back into the quiet, for even whispers move heaven. Call to me, and I will answer you, and show you great and mighty things you do not know. Jeremiah 33:3. In the great symphony, The Creation, by Joseph Haydn, there's a haunting pause between the opening chaos and the moment God speaks, "Let there be light." That silence, that brief eternity, carries the weight of all existence, waiting to be born. You are in that same pause right now, not abandoned, but becoming. So stand still, but not stagnant. The silence you feel is not the end, it's the countdown. Heaven is aligning. Angels are waiting. Destiny is tuning itself to your frequency. Trust the pause, for the sound of transformation is nearer than you think. When the silence breaks, it won't be a whisper, it will be a symphony. Rise now. The shift has already begun. There are moments when life feels like a battlefield with no end, when your faith trembles. Your prayers echo unanswered, and your strength runs thin. But what if this is not punishment? What if this is heaven's examination, the sacred test that separates those who believe from those who are chosen? Scripture declares, "The Lord tests the righteous," Psalm 11:5. That means your trials aren't random. They're custom designed by the hand that wrote your destiny. Can it be that your pain is not proof of God's absence, but evidence that He trusts you with a greater weight? The furnace of affliction is never comfortable, but it's inside that fire where divine purpose is forged. Just as gold is purified 7 times in the flame, Psalm 12:6. Your spirit too is refined through resistance. Job, stripped of everything yet still declaring, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him," Job 13:15, became heaven's example of endurance. Could your current suffering be the same proving ground, heaven's way of showing the world that your faith cannot be bought or broken? Every chosen one walks through fire. Daniel stood inside the lion's den, not to prove bravery, but to reveal the unshakable presence that dwells with the faithful. The 3 Hebrews in the furnace emerged without even the smell of smoke, Daniel 3:27, and Christ himself, in the Garden of Gethsemane, sweat drops of blood under pressure so great it split his humanity from his divinity, yet he whispered, "Not my will, but yours be done. Luke 22:42. What if your Gethsemane moment is not your end, but the beginning of resurrection power awakening inside you? Science calls this the law of stress adaptation, how bones grow stronger when placed under pressure. Faith works the same way. Pressure doesn't destroy, it activates dormant strength. In the physics of heaven, resistance is the friction that births power. When heaven tests its strongest soldiers, it's because their spiritual architecture must be reinforced for the weight of glory coming next. There's a quiet truth every great craftsman knows, and a sculptor from Prague once put it best: stone screams before it sings. His name was Marek Havel, and he spent years chiseling sacred figures for cathedrals no one would ever visit. When asked why he worked so patiently, he smiled and said, "Because God sees the hidden corners tourists never do." You, too, are being sculpted in secret places, shaped where no one claps, prepared for altars not yet built. Yet there is danger in the test: pride. King Nebuchadnezzar once thought he had reached the top of the world. He said, "Is not this great Babylon that I have built?" Daniel 4:30. But heaven stripped him of reason until he lived among the beasts. Pride fails the test because it worships self instead of the one who gives strength. Where in your heart have you begun to claim as yours what was meant to glorify God? The moment you surrender that, the test begins to transform into testimony. The natural world preaches this too. The eagle's wings are strengthened by storms. Without wind, it cannot rise. The seed breaks before it sprouts. Volcanoes sleep centuries before they birth new islands. The process looks like destruction, but in heaven's language, it's formation. After you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace will restore you, make you strong, firm, and steadfast. 1 Peter 5:10. Composer Arvo Pärt, known for his sacred minimalism, once wrote, "Spiegel, I am Spiegel, mirror in the mirror," a piece so quiet it almost disappears. Yet in that stillness lies unbearable beauty. That's what testing feels like: sparse, quiet, aching, until one day the harmony unfolds and you realize the silence was part of the song. And here's what I've learned: the test isn't to prove your weakness, it's to reveal heaven's strength within you. When I was in my lowest season, stripped of certainty, a stranger named Elena, a nurse from Lisbon, told me something I never forgot. Maybe God hides you, not to punish you, but to finish you. That simple sentence became my anchor. Sometimes, heaven's hardest tests are heaven's deepest blessings in disguise. So today, stand tall, soldier of the divine. You've been tried in fire, but not consumed. You've been pressed, but not crushed. 2 Corinthians 4-8. The shift is here, the test is turning into testimony. Declare it aloud now: I am ready for the graduation of my faith. Because the one who began this work in you will complete it. Philippians 1-6. Rise, chosen one. Heaven is not testing you to break you, it's testing you to crown you. And now, as the final words of this message reach you, something extraordinary has already begun. Heaven did not wait until today by accident. It waited because you were finally ready. Ready to hear what could not be spoken before. Ready to rise from what you once called ruin. Ready to see the hand of God, not as punishment, but as precision. The same God who waited for the fullness of time before sending his Son, Galatians 4-4, has waited for this exact moment to reveal the next chapter of your destiny. Everything you've endured, the silent years, the unanswered prayers, the nights of questioning your worth, they were not wasted. They were the chisels of heaven shaping your purpose. And perhaps now you understand, delay is not denial, it's divine design. You were not being buried, you were being planted. What felt like darkness was soil. What looked like loss was strategy. Can you sense it now, that quiet trembling in your spirit? Like the air before the rain, that is heaven's confirmation. It is the sound of destiny aligning with your obedience. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry. Wait for it, for it will surely come. Habakkuk 2-3. And now, child of light, the appointed time is today. I have learned that revelation is not a luxury, it's an assignment. When heaven speaks, it does not whisper to entertain, it commands to awaken. This message was not meant to inspire you for a moment, it was sent to commission you for a lifetime. To remind you that your calling is not fragile, it's fortified by the very breath of God. For we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand, Ephesians 2:10. Maybe you've asked yourself, why me, Lord? And heaven answers, because you survived what would have destroyed others, because your faith, though trembling, never broke. Every scar became a signature of survival. Every tear became oil for your anointing. You are proof that nothing in your story was wasted. As I bring this message to its close, let me speak not as a voice from a screen, but as one who walks beside you in this journey of faith. You are not watching by coincidence, you are responding to a divine summons. Heaven waited until today, because your frequency has finally reached the vibration of fulfillment. The lock is turning, the seal is breaking, the time is now. So before this moment fades, I want to invite you into an act of faith, not for algorithms, not for vanity, but as a prophetic gesture of agreement with heaven itself. Press like, not as reaction, but as declaration. I receive this word as my confirmation. Subscribe not as ritual, but as alignment. Join this rising wave of awakened souls carrying light into darkness. Comment below 777, heaven's symbol of completion, covenant, and divine victory. When you write it, you echo what heaven has already written over you. It is done. Veriv, Follent, Aneinbacted, with a 9 def, and to those who have supported this mission through your super thanks. Your prayers, your words, your presence know this. Your generosity is not unnoticed. Every gift, whether financial or spiritual, fuels the expansion of this divine assignment. And for those who simply watch in silence, your presence is still sacred. You are part of this movement. You are seen. You are valued. You are chosen. From the depths of my heart, thank you. Thank you for walking through revelation with reverence. Thank you for letting these words enter the secret spaces of your soul. Thank you for proving that faith still moves mountains, and love still reaches through screens to heal the unseen. And now, before we part, let me release a prayer over you, not as a farewell, but as a seal of blessing. May the Lord go before you as light in darkness, stand beside you as strength in weakness, and rest above you as peace in storms. May His favor open doors no man can close. May His angels guard your home and your mind. May His Spirit whisper to your heart the secrets of purpose. And may every seed of faith you've planted burst forth in due season, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. When it me, carry this message, not in your phone, but in your heart. Live it, speak it, walk in it. Heaven did not reveal this truth to you just to be heard, but to be embodied. Rise now, chosen one. The waiting is over. Heaven waited until today to show you this, because today you became ready to shine.